Read the description as well. Like the broadcast. Share it. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. Tell all of them that Mayegun today, Mayegun is live. And if you have done that already, thank you. So tonight, as usual, I have come with loads of goodies that we normally call the updates. So we will be taking them one after the other. The image you saw on your screen earlier, this image of this recharge card seller, his name is Bashiru Amadu. He was a recharge card seller that Buhari appointed as a social media advisor, and is also one mofo that has a sort of a knack for his hatred, for the Igbos is legendary, and he never hides it, by the way. Now, is somebody who has been defaming, use that, libeling against just anything and anyone from the southeast part of Nigeria. This afternoon, there is a report that the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's legal team, they have filed a defamation a case against him. This was the mofo that came on a few days ago and tweeted that anyone and everyone that is asking for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, right, that person is, or that group of people, they are enemies of Nigeria. He called Nnamdi Kanu a terrorist. He called IPOB a terrorist organization. And as I was silently praying that, you know, somebody will pick that up. Indeed, Nnamdi Kanu's legal team picked that up. And now, it would have to actually prove where Nnamdi Kanu is a terrorist. Any crime committed by Nnamdi Kanu to be referred to as a terrorist, as well as any crime committed by the IPOB to be referred to a terrorist organization. And a failure to do that, it would have to cough out £1 billion. That is a defamation cost. Now, I think it is high time people start doing that, by the way. Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped by Buhari's, terrorist regime. The regime that has been pardoning terrorists through an illegal arrangement called Operation Safe Corridor. Under Buhari, terrorists slaughtered. Boko Haram terrorists, Fulani terrorists, they have slaughtered over 180,000 Nigerians. And guess what? Not a single one of them has been put on trial. And if you dare call the Fulani terrorist, they will say you have a Fulani phobia. In fact, they will say any move to try to stop the advancement of the Fulani terrorists in the southern part of Nigeria is considered an attack on the northern Nigeria. Now, you see these mofos that will defend all their terrorists and all the criminal, treasonable attacks on Nigeria, on the Nigerian economy, on the Nigerian people. They can easily point the fingers, at other people and accuse them of the same thing they are actually doing. There is no court in Nigeria that has proven any case against Nnamdi Kanu. There is no court in Nigeria that has ruled that the IPOB has committed any terrorist act in Nigeria. Rather, it's been the IPOB that has won cases against Nigeria. You see, Buhari's murderous regime proscribed IPOB in Nigeria simply because they thought that by labeling the IPOB that are demanding for the peaceful breakup of that contraption, by labeling them IPOB, will give them the license to kill, which they have been using, and somehow they have been indicted of it many times. So they proscribed the IPOB for demanding for a referendum to break away from Nigeria. However, the ECOWAS court has ruled against Nigeria, right? The United States of America's government, they have also exonerated the IPOB of being anything or having anything in common with a terrorist. Rather, the Fulani terrorist, which is believed to be the fourth deadliest terror group in the whole world, continue to enjoy a very warm, cordial patronage from the Buhari's terrorist government in Nigeria. Buhari's government brags that they have pardoned. Not only pardoned, they have also rehabilitated more than 200 murderous terrorists, Boko Haram terrorists, Fulani terrorists, without a single one of them actually facing any courts or, being tried in any courts in Nigeria. Till today, Nnamdi Kanu defeated the same Buhari's government, even before Buhari left. Buhari's government was defeated by Nnamdi Kanu in their own courts, that it was granted, it was acquitted and discharged of any charges brought upon him by Buhari's government. Rather, Malamu decided to use the same corrupt system to ask for the stay of execution. Stay of execution meaning they were ashamed to let Nnamdi Kanu go, because they already promised or bragged to their Fulani, their Fulani population and the Hausa population in northern Nigeria that they captured Nnamdi Kanu, and that was supposed to be the end of their poverty or the end of their insecurity in northern Nigeria, but it never was the end. Rather, Operation Safe Corridor, the illegal catch and release system put in place by Buhari's murderous regime, continue to release dangerous terrorists, dangerous real Boko Haram Fulani terrorists into the wild. Not only that, they were paying them a huge amount of money. They are protecting them, all because they claim that the terrorists swore by the Holy Quran that they will never do it again. Mind you, they have captured and released maybe, because according to them, some of these terrorists also repented. They surrendered. Now, these guys said and claimed that these murderous animals in northern Nigeria who continue to hold Nigeria to ransom, Buhari's regime claimed that these repentant terrorists, over 200,000 of them, they swore by Holy Quran that they will not do it again. Now, that is why you see this mofo calling the IPOB terrorist or calling Nnamdi Kanu terrorist is typical of these northern criminals. It is the same way that they will tell you that the southern Nigeria is more corrupt. But when you begin to take a look at those who have depleted the resources of Nigeria, those who have looted Nigeria like tomorrow, no day, they've always been the northern flair, these northern blokes, these criminals from northern Nigeria. If you take a look at those who have been robbing people of their hard-earned money in Nigeria, scamming people locally in Nigeria, they've been these northerners. But somehow, over time, they have kind of made it like a thing to say the southerners have been the scammers, the southerners, they have been the fraudsters, the southerners, they have been the most corrupt. When indeed, record fact for fact, these northerners, these northern mofos, these parasites, these leeches that cannot stay on their own, continue to loot Nigeria, destroy Nigeria, and then point the fingers at a different direction. So if the Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers really mean business, as I think they do, right? This is one lunatic that you can use as a scapegoat. Yeah, they have a corrupt legal system. But yeah, let him actually stand to prove to you that indeed, what said their court couldn't prove, he has a proof of that. The same court that couldn't convict Nnamdi Kanu, the same court that couldn't really get the IPOB guilty of any crime. Maybe this mofo, this this criminal himself, and I call him a criminal because there's evidence of that. After serving Buhari for 8 years, this Olori Bukuolojueran guy actually fraudulently inserted himself in one of the Ministry of the Ministry of Petroleum or so in Nigeria as a civil servant. Yeah, he did. So if he wasn't outed, this guy was being paid salary for a whole year. He was Buhari's special advisor on social media. One. Then on the other hand, a year before the end of the term of Buhari, right? This guy was drawing salary from the Ministry of Petroleum in Nigeria as like a civil servant. Yeah? So, and then he got outed. He was drawing 2 salaries from Nigeria, or he can easily point fingers and tell you that we Northerners are not fraudsters. The Southerners are the ones. And see, tonight, I also have something to share with you. Why the EFCC is more interested in breaking into homes in Southern Nigeria and not in Northern Nigeria, when in actual fact, the people that are synonymous, the real region with the with the first class certificates in money laundering through their bureau de change in Nigeria, these are the Northerners. Well, anyway, we'll come back to that. So yeah, that's the first picture. Another clown is this mofo. I don't know where he lives or which of the sewage he kind of crawled out from in London. You know, another Ronuku of London, Yoruba Ponu of London. You saw those ones that believes that they have the right to live in another person's country and at the same time maybe even enjoy all the privileges. But when it comes to the Ronukus of Nigeria or the Tifnumbu of this world, then they will begin to tell you that they are Ronu or Ponu. This, this clown, I'll call him a clown. This particular clown has made a video. According to him, it is to return the stolen shoes of Kemi Badenoch's brother. You remember the story of Kemi Badenoch's brother, that the Nigerian police stole his shoes, is a wristwatch, right? That Kemi said last year. Now that clown in purple went to the shop in London, bought some pair of shoes, bought 2 pair of shoes, and decided to video himself. Now, returning the shoes to them at the number 10 in London, Downing Street. He went there. He said, "I am returning these shoes to you. I want you to help me give these shoes to Kemi Badenoch, to give it to our brother, so that Kemi Badenoch can leave Nigeria alone." You know, this emergency lover of Nigeria, because of Tifnumbu, they now love Nigeria. Meanwhile, if you flash back to 2-3 years ago, these mofos, they were shouting Yoruba Nation, Yoruba Nation. They are shouting Oduduwa Republic, Oduduwa Republic. But immediately the druggie, the drug dealer, the drug addict, Kanu, became the presidential candidate of APC, Egbekegbe, they automatically became an emergency lover of Nigeria. And they will love Nigeria, by the way. They're going to love Nigeria for the next, for another 6 years, if Kanu lasts that long, okay? So they will love Nigeria. The moment a Yoruba man is no longer in charge of that contraption, then they will revert back to the status quo, where they will begin to shout Yoruba Nation, Oduduwa Republic. But for now, if you do not support the druggie, if you dare say anything that is, according to them, negative about the contraption, it is automatically believed that you are attacking Yoruba, and in fact, you are hating Nigeria. So they are the emergency lovers of Nigeria. They love Nigeria right now. If Nigerians are going through inflation or corruption or insecurity or and name it, it doesn't matter. a Yoruba man is depressed idiot. And all it deserves right now is our support. We must support him, you know. We must not join others to criticize a Yoruba man. Yeah, maybe later we can do that. But for now, Nigeria is our country. Let us love our country. The Mopos don't love Nigeria. They don't give a damn about Nigeria. None of them does, right? None of them actually like Nigeria. But it is because they are living in this delulu, kind of like a delusion. Sure you get. And you can see through it easily. You can. Because to them, they can compare all of the bad things. For example, if you talk about insecurity, for example, they will tell you that, you know, insecurity is not synonymous to Nigeria. There are knife crimes in the UK. Sure you get now, like there are people stabbing people in London. So if people are being killed by terrorists in Nigeria, it's not just Nigeria. Then they usually say, okay, more Nigerians have become poorer. They will say there are poor people in London too. There are poor people in America. You know, people there are homeless people in America. That's what they will tell you. Now, they will use all of this to remind you that whatever you are going through in that contraption is not new. But you will never see this Olori Bruku days, right? Say, okay, the same London, I'll be the same America. They have 24 hours electricity. They have, you know, running water. They have good roads. They have a rail system that is working. They have, you know, they have all these infrastructures that makes life better, right? And then when it comes to the economy, okay, so the inflation in the UK is somewhere around 3.5 to what have you percent. I think it was actually 3% or 3.5%. Unemployment in the UK is somewhere around 4% as well. In America, inflation in America is about 3-point-something%. If you know, unemployment in America is also like 4%. In Nigeria, they have minimum wage in okay, minimum wage in the UK is between 10 to 15 pounds. Minimum wage in America is almost the same as well, like between $15 to $20 an hour. Now they will use all of that as comparison. No. So when you tell them that, why can't, if you think there are crimes in America, there is crime in gun violence in America, knife crime in the UK, how come you cannot compare working system also? Like, and say, okay, Nigeria, where you have Boko Haram terrorists, where multitude of people are being kidnapped in 2024 alone, right? 2.3 trillion, million. 2.3 million Nigerians were kidnapped. 2.233 trillion naira was paid as ransom. We don't have that here. They don't have that in America. Abi? But they will say that because they are the emergency lovers of Nigeria. Bunch of Abrodian Ronukus, Abrodian Onus. So maybe all of you who have been robbed by the Nigerian police, maybe you can get the face of this lunatic, this clown, and possibly send him a message. He even look like a lunatic, by the way. I don't know, is it just me? You know, his facial expression looked like somebody who escaped from a loony house, you know. And there are many in London, by the way, frustrated sewage dwellers, that the only cover they have is that they are far away from that contraption. If you take a look at his face, it looks like somebody who is unwell. Maybe it's just me, anyway. But it looks like a lunatic anyway. So that's the guy. So he went to a shop. He bought a pair of shoes to go and give to Kemi Badenoch. And if you have been robbed by the Nigerian police, yeah, if you have been robbed, maybe you should look for his old contact online. And he can maybe buy you everything they robbed from you back for you. This is what they are doing. And another lunatic called Reno Mockery. That one is also dancing like, you know, this, you know, macabre, shameless dance as well. There are many. And oh my dear God, it is this social media. Emergency lovers of Nigeria. Tifnumbu is destroying Nigeria. and it will do it even more. Whatever you faced in 2024, 2025 is, in fact, whatever you faced in 2024 is a child's play to what you are going to face in 2025. So let's get started one by one then, all right? So there is a report that the NCC, I think, yeah, I even have the, what have you? So Nigerian Communication Commission, okay? So they released the statement to say everything you heard last year about the pending increase in tariff, which will cover the phone calls, the text messages, as well as what you call the data in Nigeria, internet, and what have you, will now go up by 50%. In reality, by the way, it is expected to be more than 50%. Okay. Now, in the UK, every year, we always have what is called the increase in our own tariff as well. In our phone, no, in our, yeah. What do you call that thing again? The price increase, right? We call it price increase. Okay. But that is their way of kind of like a balancing the cost of inflation on the side, and then maybe cost of production as well. Okay, so you're going to get like a £1 increase, or some cases maybe £2. So on your broadband, you may have broadband bill, you may have like £2 increase. On your SIM card, apart from you that have maybe fixed contracts, right? On your SIM card, you may get like a £1 increase, right? And maybe not on your phone, no, or maybe on your TV, okay? Your TV, because you know, when I was working for Sky, right? The busiest time of the year is always from February, okay? February of the year, that is when we always send out and say, well, the price is going to go up. So if you are paying, for example, if you are paying, let's say £70 for your TV, for your broadband, maybe for your landline, what else there again? So maybe for your phone, your SIM card. So we're going to tell you that there's going to be a price increase in February. So, but you do have a chance of calling in to, you know, to negotiate it, kind of, right? So if you are, there's no chance when you, for example, let's say you are paying £70, and then the price increase is going to go up by £35, 50%. That's impossible, right? But that is what you are about to have in that contraption with immediate effects. So right now, the cost of making calls in Nigeria is now going to go up by half. So if you are making if a minute call in Nigeria, for example, is 1 naira, so now it's going to be 1 naira 50 kobo. So if you are spending 10 naira to make a 10-minute call, so now you have to spend 15 naira. Okay. So if you are spending, for example, if you're spending 2,000 naira to have, I know I may not be correct with how much you're actually paying for your data and all that, but you have the idea, right? Because you see, Nigeria right now is in a very, very bad place economically. One of the horrible things about inflation is that it impoverishes the people. Okay? So if you are spending maybe 2,000 naira on 20 gigs, I mean, 20 gig data in Nigeria. So what happens is that your 20 gig may be 2,000 naira, and it may just go up to 3,000 naira. But you see the consumption of it, you just realize that, normally I always use my 20 gig for, for like 2 weeks or maybe a month. Now you realize that even though the 20 gig is now going to